I'm going to wait for some viewers, but another shitty performance by the Pittsburgh Steelers as they just finish up the game. We're going to go live here and do a little bit of a show and talk a little bit about what the Steelers didn't do yet again. And guys, we can see a big problem here. Sorry, I'm just getting everything ready, but we can see a big issue here. And one is Mike Tomlin is bad situationally, bad. Let's just face that fact. You have a field goal kicker in Chris Boswell. Yeah, I know he missed an extra point early, but you got to try to kick a field goal there and put some points up on the board. You absolutely have to. But let's talk a little bit about what the Steelers did wrong. They really failed in this ball game, and if you have comments, put them in there. Know what you about this game and where you think the Steelers now sit. I have some opinions I think about this football team now after they lose 3 consecutive games to really bad teams. The Colts are a pretty decent team. They're able to put some pressure on the quarterback. But guys, we have to really face one big fact here, and I think everybody is so consumed with Mitchell Trubisky, the quarterback situation, Mike Tomlin being bad. And those are big things, but that offensive line is absolutely atrocious. Najee Harris, he shouldn't be the lead runner, guys. He really shouldn't. He has no versatility, no real pop hitting the hole. Yeah, I like his effort sometimes, but you can't fumble being a leader, so-called leader on this football team. In a big moment, down in your own end, you can't do that, man. It's just bad football all around. They came out, looked good. Well, didn't look great, but they were ahead, 13-0, controlling the football game. A big block punt by Connor Hayward, and yet again, they were absolutely predictable. Not moving the football after that at all, really. Just really sluggish and really just the Steelers that we've come to know here lately, and it's just been bad, guys. It's really been bad. Again, put in the comments what you thought about this game today and let me know where you think the Steelers are lacking the most. I think it's a combination of a lot of factors, and I think the offensive line is bad, but we can't even deflect off of that defense either. They allow some bad plays. You lost Minka again. Just real horrible run defense there for a long stretch. I knew it. I even was talking to Sean, who comes on the channel, and I had said, man, they're going to give up an 8-minute drive here. And sure shit, just over 8 minutes, they gave it up. They ran the ball. The Colts ran the ball down the Steelers' throat, and they had no answer. No answer, man. Let's go to one of the comments. AK Davis, they do not deserve to be in the playoffs. Absolutely not, AK. They looked bad in both sides of the ball. I agree. Bad, for sure. And if this forces Art to see the changes are really needed, then maybe something good will come next year. I agree, AK. That was a good comment, buddy. The Steelers have to start facing the facts, guys. Mike Tomlin is a bad situational football coach. This team lacks any type of excitement. They look unprepared always. They really do. The play calls are head scratchers a lot of the times. This offense has no type of versatility. The defense, yeah, they play well at moments, but they've been getting gashed too, guys. They've been giving up a lot of points in the first half. And yet again today, they kind of had about the same type of performance first and second half. I understand they lost Minka, but they are beat up a little bit. But really, if you think about it, the inside linebacker room is the only real difference, minus Minka. Keanu Neal going, or was that Casey? Sorry, guys. Him going out, I thought that was bullshit. The NFL got to stop a little bit here. Casey's hit, I think it was a personal foul for sure. He went in there and ripped Pittman's head off. I don't think that was an ejectable type play, man. I really don't, but maybe some may disagree with me. Yeah, I just don't think that was something that he should have been ejected for. If you guys have comments on that play, I think really from there on, that back end of the Steelers defense was really bad, really just out of sorts. Like that play right there just really took the wind out of their sails. Tomlin looked like he was in way over his head today. No clue what to do. I agree, man. He was. He looks lost, guys. In my opinion, he looks totally lost. He is horrible situationally, and I'm not sure if anybody else thinks so or agrees with me or disagrees with me. But he is bad situationally. You have to attempt to get points there. Putting out Presley Harvin, who's very inconsistent, to punt the ball down to the 20-yard line, I think is where they ended up with it at the end of that punt. That's just bad, man. I'd rather give the ball up almost near the 50 with at least a shot of Boz trying to make it. Boz got a big leg, dude, especially indoors. The roof was closed. No type of wind, no nothing. You got to take a shot there if you're Mike Tomlin. You really do. And then just to throw the ball there at the end of the second half or the first half. You were really trying to take a chance with 18 seconds left, trying to move the football, and then you come out in situations in the second half and you're running the same predictable plays on first down. You're running draw plays on 3rd and 20. You're not aggressive at all. Like, what in the world are you doing if you're Mike Tomlin? And if you're allowing the play callers to do that and you're standing there just watching it and not going over or not getting on the headset and saying, hey, man, we got to change some shit up. This ain't working. You're a bad coach, dude, in my opinion. And I think Tomlin's time has wore thin, man, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that because of today's performance. I've been saying it for several weeks. He does look lost. Sean says, hey, our Sean from Mike Drop here, he says, it was a clean hit. I can punt the ball better than Presley. At times, yeah, Sean, I agree. I think that Presley Harvin is very inconsistent. He proved that most of the time this season, he's just not able to be a consistent punter. He's not able to have that consistency and flip the field a lot of the times. There's those timely shanks, man, that really hurt the Steelers, especially on defense. Yeah, or on defense. Sorry, we know that. But, yeah, you're shanking punts. It's just bad, man. Just really, really bad. And I think there's so many factors, guys. So many things that are wrong with this football team. And when you have so many things wrong, and you have the amount of talent that's on this team, I think that it has to start at the top. And I think it has to be a coaching type thing. It really does. Because how can so many things be wrong and yet no one look at the leadership? I mean, if you're Art Rooney, you really got to start cleaning house here. And you really, if you don't want to fire Tomlin's got to clean his staff out and start fresh and bring in some new ideas. Because Mike Tomlin wanting to control everything in that building, have his thumbprint on everything in that building, it's really starting to show because he's bad at having his thumbprint on those things. He's bad. Any other comments, guys, put them in there. This won't be a terribly long show today, but I do want to give you guys a chance to put in the comments and voice your concerns, voice your opinions. Give me any type of situation that you thought was a key part of this game. I just thought they played bad. They came out looking okay. And then you had Mitchell Trubisky throw that one interception late in the game when they were starting to move the football. I think if they'd have went down and scored there, they'd have had a chance. But whenever I seen Mitchell Trubisky get lazy in his mechanics, lay back on that back foot before he even threw that ball, I said out loud, man, that's a pick. And sure as shit, he floated that ball. Hey, could it have been a bad route or something by Pickens or whoever it was? I think it was Pickens. Absolutely, it could have been. But, guys, we can't pass the buck off too much. Mitchell was bad at times. He had a couple good plays, made a couple good decisions. But the offensive line as a whole, that's what's really killing this football team, in my opinion. You have Mason Cole, big-time holding penalty there. You just have him, a lot of pressure coming up the middle. The pocket collapses rather quickly, and I think it's a big problem. And I think until that's rectified, until they can start to come together, this team will show no signs of improvement. And does the Steelers organization rush Kenny Pickett back to try to win these last 3 games? Does that give the Steelers a chance? They're now knocked the whole way down, guys. They're like the last seed available or whatever, like the last potential in or out in the hunt type team, going from the 5th seed with a quality record after that Browns loss, and now look at them. They have totally fell off. So instead of the monumental collapse being at the beginning of the season this year, It's just come at the end. It's a typical Tomlin thing. And if they finish 500, what are we all going to do? Bow down, and the national media will sit there and say how great of a coach Mike Tomlin is? If that's your standard and that's your idea of good, then you got a real problem. And the national media should quit trying to feed a bullshit narrative about Mike Tomlin being an elite coach, because as of right now, he's not. He hasn't really had a winning product in over or almost a decade. We'll say about 8-9 years here. He hasn't won playoff games since what, the beginning part of his career. We did a show on it. It's horrible. The statistics are eye-popping how bad Mike Tomlin has been. Let's get back to some of these comments here. Kevin Lynch just got off work, missed the game. Sounds like I didn't miss nothing. No, you didn't, Kevin. Absolutely not. AK Davis, Terrell Austin sucks just as much as Canada. I agree. They're both bad, man. You're right on that, AK. Sean, the dude, says, once the defense lost both safeties, it was as if the team gave up. Yeah, I had that sense on defense. They really lacked a lot, man. It was just that back end was ate up. It was just not looking good. It just really didn't. Steelers freak, the levels of ass can't be peeled back to get to the cause. Dude, great comment, Steelers freak. I like your stuff. Yeah, dude, it's all horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. There's really no shining thing we can really look at that says, man, there's hope. There's this thing that we can hold on to with this team, and that should get them through here. No, there isn't. There really isn't. Another one from Steelers Freak I just sent. Rip Van Rooney, my victim impact statement. Yeah, no shit, man. No doubt, dude. Yeah, it's bad. I felt the same way. I felt violated at the end of that game. Yeah. Kevin Lynch told the dude this team gave up 3 weeks ago. You're absolutely right, man. They really did. And I'm not sure why. They were in an excellent spot. They were sitting perfect. I think that loss in Cleveland just totally demoralized this football team, guys. Totally just killed them. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. I don't know why it happened, but you can really tell after that loss, in a game that they should have won, a game that they could do absolutely nothing. It was close down to the end and still lost that game, and I think that just took everything out of this team, and I'm not sure why. And people say that there's a lack of leadership in that building, especially on offense. I agree with that, but you still have veterans like Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, guys that have been around this game, Minka Fitzpatrick. Those guys got to lead this team. And I'm not sure how you let this locker room fall apart. A coach that's in his 18th season and Mike Tomlin allowing a football team to totally destroy itself and totally implode, and you have no grip on it. I mean, honestly, too, you have one of the better young wide receivers in the game that absolutely has zero attention from this offense. They absolutely barely ever look his way, in my opinion. They go to him occasionally. But do they try to hold him back so they don't have to pay him when his rookie deal's done? I don't know. I mean, they create these conspiracy theories themselves by not utilizing him. I mean, they're not going to him really at all. I don't understand it. I really don't. 5, 6, 7 targets a game is not enough for a guy like George Pickens. And if you're Mitchell Trubisky, when you try to force the ball downfield to George Pickens, you throw an interception, throwing it into double coverage when you had a lane in front of you to be able to just move the chains. Why force the football? They played into the Colts' hands. The Colts made them one-dimensional. And let's give the Colts some credit, too. That secondary and those linebackers of the Colts, they came downhill and were hitting the shit out of those Pittsburgh Steelers runners, man. They were knocking the shit out of them. Big hits, really just laying the lumber to them. And that defensive front for the Colts was absolutely killing that Steelers offensive line, killing them. And let's not forget that defense, or that offense for the Colts. Really good. Gardner Minshew hitting throws, hitting his receivers. I mean, making the timely throw, making those chains move, and that's all you can ask for. Gardner Minshew, yeah, he's a backup, but he started in this league. He has experience with these guys, and he proved that he was the better quarterback on this field. Mitchell Trubisky has 75, 76 starts now. And whenever he came, everybody's like, oh, we need a comeback, whatever. You're not going to get a comeback out of a guy that has 5 career comebacks in the fourth quarter, one of those only being over 7 points. The odds are stacked against you. Mitchell Trubisky is not it. It's why he's just not it, guys. And then everybody clamoring for Mason Rudolph. I get it. I understand it. But Mason Rudolph isn't good either, guys. He's not. He's not good. I mean, it's just the facts, and we all have to face that as Steelers fans. This team is in real trouble. It's highly doubtful they even win another game this season. We'll continue to break it down, continue to follow them, continue to hopefully stay a little bit positive. Maybe they will maybe do something, get some help from some other teams, but I doubt it. I doubt it very seriously. Let's go back to some of the comments. You think they'll start Mason next week from Kevin Lynch? I think Mason Rudolph has an excellent chance to be the starter next week. Mike Tomlin and the coaching staff seem to have made a statement there, putting Mitchell Trubisky on the bench late in the game, and I know it was too late to do that, to make that change. But I think they kind of had in mind that was kind of like the last audition for Mitchell Trubisky unless they're forced into playing him through injury. I will say with the definitive voice that if Kenny Pickett isn't ready, Mason Rudolph is your starter next week at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, without a doubt, Kevin, in my opinion. Steelers freak, George Pickens' agent is on the phone shopping now. Honestly, if you're George, why be here? I mean, you can't get out of it. You're on your rookie contract, but whatever. I mean, unless the Steelers release you and you cause a bunch of shit, whatever. But that would probably be career suicide for George Pickens, in my opinion. But GP has to be frustrated. He needs to learn to be an adult, though, and not share those frustrations as much. In my opinion, I think you need to be a professional. But GP is underutilized. Big time. And, guys, it's hard to get the football to these players, too, when the offensive line is horrible and that pocket collapses rather quick. And it does give these quarterbacks happy feet. It really, really does. You're going to be leery of that pass rush because you know it's coming. You know you don't got much time, and that probably contributes to it collapsing a little bit quicker also. But you have pressure from up the middle. Mason Cole allows so much pressure, guys. It's unreal. If you really focus on the pass plays and watch that center position, you will see how bad Mason Cole truly, truly is, guys. He's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And for Mike Tomlin not to replace him is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Another thing that's mind-blowing to me is to continue to run the same bullshit on first down. No versatility, no play action, nothing really mixing anything up. And then for Mike Tomlin not to admit that he's wrong with Najee Harris. Najee Harris, yeah, he picked him in the first round. Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert, they picked him in the first round, but he's not a first-round back. He's not lived up to that, in my opinion. And you saw it today. He was very pedestrian. He sucked. And he turned the ball over in a bad spot. That hurt the Steelers badly. That resulted in a touchdown. And you got to pin some of this game on him and the Steelers for continually wheeling him out there instead of a guy that is the better back in Jaylen Warren, who has more versatility, can do so many things that Najee Harris can't. And the Steelers to just continue to commit suicide by wheeling Najee Harris out there instead of getting a little bit more versatile and trying some new things with Jaylen Warren, I think is a problem, a big problem. Let's go back to the comments. Gardner Minshew lets it rip because he knows his mustache will get him. That's a good one, Steelers freak. I like that one. Robert Rhodes, sorry, but we needed this loss and a few more. Changes coming. I don't know if I'd say, Robert, we need it. But you're right. It's going to probably help down the road because maybe it'll open some more eyes. But I don't know how much more their eyes need to be opened. But I think maybe it will contribute, Robert, to maybe make some changes and see some more changes come quickly. If I was Art Rooney, I'd already fired Mike Tomlin. But that's just me. I know the Rooneys are all about this stability and loyalty, and I get that. But you've given him, this is his 18th season. He hasn't won since 04-05 time frame, guys. He hasn't won playoff games since then. I don't know what more you need to see. And the standard sucks ass, guys. The standard. Mike Tomlin's standard. It sucks. Let's just face it, it sucks. A mediocre 500 football team means nothing to nobody. It's a waste of a season. It's a waste of guys like TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward. But you didn't really hear much from Captain Cam either today. He really didn't come up big. He really didn't do much either. So it is what it is. Let's go back to some more comments. Robert Rhodes, better days ahead. I think so. I hope so. It can't get much worse, in my opinion. This is definitely not the Steelers that we have come to know through the course of Ben Roethlisberger's career. Well, maybe that's a lie, guys, because Mike Tomlin's been mediocre for a long time. So yeah, we've had 8-9 years of mediocrity and bullshit. So I guess we should be used to it. I guess the Steeler way left a long time ago. So it is what it is. A.K. Davis, Tomlin was hoping Najee would be Le'Veon Bell, but he was never on that level. You're absolutely right, AK. Mike Tomlin doesn't want to admit that he was wrong with Najee Harris putting that first round grade on him. I think he thought he was going to be Derrick Henry, coming out of Alabama, built like a big guy, but he runs like he's trying to be a Le'Veon Bell, like he's trying to be a finesse back. And Najee Harris doesn't have that skill set. Let's just face it, he doesn't. All right, guys, let's go back to another comment. Steelers freak. This team is 3 years away from Super Bowl contention with luck in the draft and a complete coaching overhaul and finding the QB. Yeah, you can't win in this league. Steelers freak. We all, I think, agree on that. You can't win in this league with subpar quarterback play. And we see it week in and week out with the Steelers. There is no real answer right now. Do I think Kenny Pickett could possibly develop? Possibly. He could definitely make a big jump. I do think they're going to give him another year next year, but I think if they were wise, they would go out in the draft and try to find somebody to provide some serious competition and push him a little bit. I still think maybe, though, they give him that chance. But if they do make a coaching change, Kenny Pickett is going to be out on that island that some of these quarterbacks are when new coaches come in. They're going to be not that coach's guy. So you know that it's only a matter of time before that new coach makes that change and looks for his guy. So you know that's going to happen. A new offensive coordinator with some new fresh ideas and not to run these same vanilla plays and packages is a much needed thing. Mitchell Trubisky today, whenever he had a chance to move the chains, throws it to the left of Pat Freiermuth. And yeah, Pat probably was supposed to sit right down there. But if you're Mitchell Trubisky, you had enough time to see where he was. You were going to be able to make that throw and to miss 4 or 5 yard throws, 6 yard throws. That's pathetic, guys. That's not winning football. You saw Gardner Minshew laying the ball up and letting his guys go make plays. And Mitchell doesn't do that. Nor Kenny. And we haven't seen Mason in a long time, so I really don't know what he's going to be about. But I do think he'll start next week if Kenny isn't ready. But these guys don't anticipate where guys are going to be. They have no feel for this football game. And it's bad. And it shows every week. Back to the comments. Robert Rhodes, Henry has way more speed than Najee. I agree. I just think that's where Mike Tomlin's head was when he saw Najee Harris out of Alabama. I thought that's what he was looking for. And I think that's what he thought he was going to be. But definitely hasn't proved to be that. And Najee Harris definitely, in my opinion, so far in his career, has had more bad moments than good and hasn't lived up to that first round billing. I think they could have spent a first round pick on something better, like an offensive lineman or something that means something, But yeah, it's bad. Anyway, let's move on. The dude says Mitch was missing his targets all day. Yeah, he was. He had a couple good throws, a couple good throws on the run, a couple out when he broke down out of the pocket, but really, yeah, he was missing them all day. He just wasn't consistent, never could get in a good rhythm. And then those interceptions, that's a Mitch thing too. A lot of turnovers if you have Mitchell Trubisky in the game, and it shows that loses ball games. You can't lose the turnover battle. And the Steelers defense was unable to get those turnovers today, and it showed. It showed big time. All right, let's go back to the comments. If Kenny, this is from Robert Road, if Kenny is the backup, so what? It's not like we are paying big money for Kenny. I agree, no doubt. Hey, Take your shot with it. If you let it ride in 2024, cool. If he ends up being a career backup, cool. Whatever. They spent that first round pick on him, so I mean, it is what it is. You can't go back and change it. So hopefully he can contribute in some aspect down the road. I'm cool with that too, man. Kevin Lynch, Najee is a good kid, but not a starter. Steelers ownership are not stupid. They know this team has done quit on Tomlin. I agree. I think it's very evident, Kevin. I think it's very, very evident. They have to know it, and if they don't, they are blind. I don't think they're that dumb either. I just think that they're so much about stability, so much, excuse me, about loyalty that they're not going to fire any type of head coach in season. But if the Steelers are smart, having Mike Tomlin under contract to 2024, I think you should trade him. And I think a team will bite on it. I think the national media has propped Mike Tomlin up on his pedestal so big that some team out there is idiotic enough to bring him in. Maybe he'll have that quick success like he did in Pittsburgh when he first starts out at a new team. Maybe that's how it'll work and then slowly dwindle away again. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a change of scenery is just what Mike Tomlin needs. Maybe he'll be good somewhere else. I have no clue. The new OC must pick the next quarterback. He must cook with his own groceries. I agree, Steeler Freak. Good comment. If you're the OC, you're coming in, you're a new guy, young guy, you're trying to build an offense, make a name for yourself on that march toward a head coaching position, I think you do need your guy. And I think that makes you more comfortable to have a guy that you trust, a guy that you know is on the same page as you, a guy not from a different regime. I get it, and I agree. And I think the Steelers, though, however, will keep in place Kenny Pickett just because it's a stable choice right now. Kenny doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Kenny does have good moments in the fourth quarter, but Kenny has a problem staying healthy. Kenny has a problem keeping this offense moving throughout the first three quarters. He has some problems, and if he could iron those out, hopefully he could be good. We'll see. Maybe Kenny just needs somebody else to guide him. We don't know. We don't know what the story will unfold, or the story. Yeah, we haven't seen the end chapter of this, guys. We don't know. Kenny Pickett's still a young guy. We haven't seen the end of him, I don't think, but hey, we'll see what happens. This should be a very interesting offseason, guys. Very interesting. Bill B from New England may need a new job after this season as well, or will he retire? I don't know about Bill Belichick. I don't think he'll ever retire. I think he'll die in football. I don't know. But if I were the Steelers, I would never go and grab a head coach that is as old as Bill. I do believe in some sense of stability, and with his advanced age, I just don't think that it would be the wise choice. I think you probably need a new, fresh face, a new, fresh perspective, and I think you need to go out and snag one of these up-and-coming coordinators, an offensive-type mind. That's where the league is moving, guys. You see it with the lack of hitting, really. The league doesn't want it. They don't want these hard hits. They want high-scoring games. They want back-and-forth football, close, high-scoring affairs, track meets. And if you're the Steelers, you got to change with the times. Defensive football and running the ball doesn't necessarily win all the time now. You need to be able to put some points up at times. And if you don't have that ability, it's tough to win in this league. Yeah. Pickett also has a Pop Warner TD stat. Yeah, he does, man. He really does, Steeler Freak. He has bad stats in terms of his statistics don't pop off the page and smack you in the face and say, look, start me. No, they definitely don't, guys. Not at all. Let me get a drink here. Let's talk, though, about that defense. Everybody says that it's more the Steelers' offense, guys. That performance today was not good. You cannot allow an 8-minute drive when you need the football back. You know what they're doing. There was no real guesswork to that. You're loading up the box and you're unable to make tackles. You're allowing that offensive line to push you around. Yeah, they were probably tired and wore down, but you're professionals and you're supposed to be able to dig deep and get that stop, man. And they were unable to do that today. And Mike Tomlin prides himself on defense and getting that timely stop, bending but not breaking. Well, you broke today, man. When you allow an 8-minute drive, you allow a practice squad runner. Zach Moss left the game with I think a shoulder or arm injury. I think it was the same arm that he had injured in the preseason. You had no Zach Moss, no Jonathan Taylor. You allow a practice squad running back to come onto the field and totally decimate a Steelers defense. And if you call that, that's bad. That's bad. That right there. After I just said that, in that perspective, that in my head, that was like a huge red flag that this defense is in trouble also. And now do the Steelers go back to not having Minka Fitzpatrick for a long time? Does the league too? Do they suspend KZ after this ejection for that hit? Don't forget that. They have a bad habit of doing stuff like that. Could they go ahead and suspend KZ for the remainder of the regular season? I don't know. Or do they suspend him another game? It's possible. I wouldn't put anything past them. BB needs a free season. Depends on the contract. What you talking about there, Steelers Freak? Who needs the BB? I'm not following that. Needs a free season. Depends on the contract. Oh, Bill Belichick. Okay. Yeah. Hey, if you were in transition, you couldn't find a coach. He was available. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Steelers Freak. It took me a second to compute that in my head. But yeah. I mean, if you needed a guy for a year or two, and you knew that's all you were going to have him for, okay, whatever. He's a Hall of Famer, but he hasn't won without Tom Brady either. So who knows? But this league, like we've said a million times, you have to have a franchise guy. You have to have a quarterback, and unless you have good quarterback play or good to serviceable quarterback play, you can't do shit in this league. Period. It's just the way it is. All right, guys, put the rest of your comments in there real quick. We're going to start wrapping this show down. The Steelers lose another heartbreaker on a 3-game skid, losing to 2-10 football teams, and now losing to a decent Colts football team, coming out in the beginning, looking like they were going to do something, and then just totally catch a beat down. I said to Sean when we were texting back and forth during the game, I had said, I like the lead, but you can't lay down for this football team because the Colts can come back. The Colts can put some points on the board. And sure as shit, we both agreed and that you had to keep the pedal to the metal. And bam, they didn't. They just didn't. We talked about the keys to what they needed to do. That attack that middle of the field, short to intermediate, allow Mitchell Trubisky to get the ball out quickly, run the football. The offensive line failed today. They weren't able to run the football effectively. Jalen Warren, I felt like every time he would get a big run, they'd take him out and put Najee back in, and Najee would catch that 2-3 yard loss or get stopped at the line of scrimmage. The Steelers shoot themselves in the foot a lot, man, and it's bad. The play calling, the schemes, they crush themselves. They beat themselves a lot. Let's go back to the comments. Kevin Lynch. That's another issue I have with Tomlin. His specialty is supposed to be defense, and he struggles with that. I agree. And he takes a lot of play calls off of Terrell Austin, guys. Terrell Austin isn't calling this defense a lot of the times. He is being overrode, or Mike Tomlin is calling it a lot. An awful lot. And I hope everybody does know that Mike Tomlin calls probably 90% of these defensive plays, and that's been documented throughout the last few years. That's come to light that Mike Tomlin has really been a guy that puts his thumb on things and really clamps down some of his coordinators and doesn't allow them to really make many moves, and it's starting to show. You've got to let your people work for you, man. Don't have them in the building if you can't trust them to make the calls, in my opinion. Steelers Freak, I am listening to old school rap Public Enemy. Don't believe the hype. But yeah, no doubt, man. They had a very hopeful season, a very exciting preseason. And we have seen this Steelers team start out pretty good with record-wise. The statistics weren't there. They weren't able to have jaw-dropping numbers in any way, but they were managing to win ball games. Other teams were helping them out, shooting themselves in the foot, and the Steelers were squeaking out those wins. But instead of the monumental slide being in the beginning of the season like it has been the past couple, it's just happening at the end here, guys. Mike Tomlin has had those 2-6, stretches, and it's showing right now. We're seeing it right now. This is a typical Mike Tomlin type thing, and it just is. They dig themselves in holes, and we'll be watching. We'll be watching that Baltimore game in the final week of the regular season, and we'll need 2, 3 teams to lose. And the Steelers, if they win, will be in the playoffs, and they'll end up beating the Ravens because the Ravens won't give a shit about the game, and the Steelers will win, and the other teams will not help them out, and they'll miss the playoffs. It'll be another one of those years that we've had so many times. It just really will be. And if they do get in the playoffs, are you confident enough that this Steelers team can compete with some of these high-flying offenses? Absolutely not. They're not good enough on offense. A.K. Davis shows they wasted time with Canada, hurt the development of their young players, and wasted career time of the older players on the team. Well said, A.K. It's absolutely the truth, brother. Absolutely the truth. You've wasted a career in T.J. Watt, one of the most elite defensive players on the planet. You have a young star in George Pickens who's unable to develop. Kenny Pickett, your first-round quarterback, unable to develop because you were too damn stubborn to fire Matt Canada a long time ago and work these kinks out. You wouldn't be sitting in this spot. They kept Matt Canada a year and a half too long. Yeah, you give Canada some time, I agree, to see what he's going to do, but once you see his product, once you see his polished product, supposedly, you got to get rid of him if it's that bad. I mean, why keep rolling it out there and expecting different results when you know that it's not going to happen? I mean, it's hard. T. Thomas, silly, great channel. I'm a Chicago Bears fan, and I just recently subscribed. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate that, dude. Good. Thank you, brother. The Robert Road, the Ravens will be playing for a bye. I agree. So that's where we'll find ourselves, in my opinion, guys. I really do think that. Thomas, when he just said he's a Chicago Bears fan, what about the rumors of Justin Fields becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler after this season? Would that be the answer? Would that be the guy they bring in to push Kenny Pickett? Or if you acquire a guy like Justin Fields, do you immediately start a guy like that? I mean, and put Kenny as the backup? Or do you just let him battle it out in camp and see? There's so many different things that can happen with this team. It's going to be an electric offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which you normally don't have electric off seasons with them, filled with a lot of controversy, filled with a lot of hopefully exciting moves and a lot of change. You don't normally have that with the Steelers, and I think we're about to see one, guys. I think the changing of the guard is about to happen. I think Mike Tomlin era is about to come to a close unless this Steelers team really finds a way to dig deep, win 3 games in a row, beat the Bengals next week, maybe get themselves back in the playoff picture, and do something. Maybe that saves Tomlin. I don't know. We'll have to just see how this plays out, guys. I don't want to abandon this team yet. They are 7-7. You beat the Bengals next week, a playoff team that's sitting in there now in the 6th seed. You might be back in the playoff picture depending on who wins and loses here in the next tomorrow, and next week. You might be back in. It's hard to tell. It's going to be a crazy thing. Sorry if you hear my kid up there stomping around. I don't know what he's doing, but he's probably hungry. Who knows? But anyway, back to the comments. Paranormal in the Funhouse. Good to see you live. Always thanks, man. Appreciate you, brother. They started Mason too late. They should have play him next week and still have a chance. They need to fix a lot. Yeah, we talked about that. I think Mason Rudolph will get the start next week. I think that's why they moved to Mason there late in the game to basically tell Mitch, hey, without telling Mitch, you're done, dude. It is what it is. We've tried and we've failed. So I do think Mason will be in. That second interception, I think, broke the back. Paranormal in the Funhouse says he thinks things can change and they could, have a better rest of the year or better next year. Hey, I think so too, man. I think there can be some things that could be built upon. I do think there is some talent on this football team, but you can't continue to waste it, and that's what the Steelers are doing now. If I can answer your question this way, allow me to do so. You or I will end up going to the Pittsburgh Steelers before Justin Fields ever does. We are trading it. Yeah, I just seen the rumors. That's why whenever you said you were the Bears fan, I'm like, I should ask you. You'd probably have more insight than I would about that organization because I never watched them. But yeah, There's your answer, guys. So don't look for Justin Fields to be out there in the market. I think the Bears will be keeping him, and that's from a Bears fan that watches them. So there's your insight on that. Let's see. Paranormal and a fun else. I feel though it's more of everyone than just Mitch this game. Yeah, it was. And yeah, I agree, man. It is more than just Mitch. It's not just Mitch, guys. It's a lot of things. The defense sucked today. Let's face the facts, man. They allowed an 8-minute drive in the most critical point of the game when the Colts were just lining up and jamming it down their throat, dude. What do? You're just basically the Colts bitch at that time. I mean, you really are. It's just what you're doing, man. You're getting crushed, bro. And you're doing nothing about it. And they're running it right there. There's no guesswork. There's nothing that you need to really scheme up there except for tackle somebody and get a push. And they were unable to do that. Yeah, I do too, Thomas. I think Mason Rudolph, if Kenny isn't able to go, I think it's time, man. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky should be the answer any longer. I think it's just time for him to go. It really is. Every time Jalen had a good play, there was a flag. I agree. There's so many holding calls. They had tons of penalties today. That's when I was saying they shoot themselves in the foot. Penalties, schematically, being very vanilla, constantly running the same shit. You know they're coming out there on first down, wheeling Najee Harris out there. He's going to try to dance at the line instead of just powering it through. He's going to lose a yard or get stopped at the line of scrimmage. They're going to face a second and long. It's just predictable over and over and over again. They run the ball so much and they don't even utilize play action pass, really. And it's like, dude, the whole point of running the damn football a lot in today's NFL is utilizing some play action pass. Where is it? They do it here and there, but you run it a lot. You run the ball a lot. And you have a weak offensive line. Try to get the ball out of Mitchell's hands quick. Something. Mix it up. And that's where I get the most frustrated with this football team, guys. It's just so plain Jane vanilla. No, it's nothing eccentric about this team at all. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Thomas. Appreciate it. I'll check that link out. Yeah, definitely will. I'll check that link out. Thanks, man. Paranormal in the Funhouse. Boswell wanted to kick. What happened there? He had to get off the field with a chance of getting points. I agree. Yeah, that was a Mike Tomlin thing. Being horrible in situational football. You have a kicker there. That would have been, I think, a 54 or 56-yard field goal. Chris Boswell got a big leg. He's hit kicks that long before, especially indoors without weather. You don't give him a chance there. Instead, you will out Presley Harvin. He's inconsistent. You make no sense. He makes no sense. Like we were talking about at the end of the first half, 18 seconds left. They're aggressive, trying to move the ball down the field. Then there's times in the second half when you need to be aggressive. They're running a damn draw. They're checking it down. They're not trying to be aggressive and push it downfield. Explain the logic. These are guys in the NFL making millions of dollars. Coaches getting paid buku cash. How in the world are you not effective in any way? How can you not adapt in any way? How can we as common fans see what's going on that field and see how vanilla and crappy they are? I don't understand it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here, answer a couple more of these comments. Tomlin says he blames himself for anything today, or everything today. Kind of live press conference, by the way, I'm shocked that he did. Yeah, he's I don't get Tomlin, man. I just don't even understand. Robert Rhodes, take care of Steelers family. I'm going to watch Denver beat the Lions. All right, brother, see ya. The dude says, I feel like penalties are a mirror of the coach. Yeah, punting the ball over kicking the field goal was horrible. Yes, I agree, dude. And the penalties are part of the coach, part of the coaching staff. Lack of discipline, lack of fundamental football. You don't win in the NFL without being able to play fundamental football, period. You have to be able to do those simple things, guys. Man, I love this. You should. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do go live after every game, so come back, man. I appreciate you, Paranormal and Funhouse. I appreciate you saying those kind things, man. Thank you. Kevin Lynch, one thing for sure is... Let me see. There, froze up. I was getting a phone call from my wife, so... One thing for sure is always you build a team first in the trenches, and the Steelers have not done that. I agree. They suck there, man. They're horrible in the trenches right now. The defense was just getting gouged too, so we can't even say they were fundamentally good on defense even anymore. So we don't even have that to hang our hat on. Thanks, dude. We'll see you next time, bro. All right, guys. Thanks, Paranormal. Yeah, man. I'll see you around, guys. All right, let's wrap this up. Steelers suck. Going 7-7 now. Do they still have a chance? We'll talk about it more this week here on the channel, and we'll break things down a little bit further. And as always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I truly appreciate it. Like the video, share the videos. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Your comments are awesome, man. You guys are good fans. You know exactly what's going on with this team. I wish the coaching staff did, and I wish the coaching staff could recognize some of these blatantly ignorant things that are going on this field that they can't identify. And it's absolutely mind-boggling that we have NFL level coaches making some of these decisions and some of these vanilla game plans. All right. Check them out, Paranormal in the Funhouse. They'll be out every day usually, at least every day or two. All right, guys. You guys can, yeah, I'm going to do some phone call stuff. So hopefully that all works out in the future so you guys can actually come on and talk. So Sean was a subscriber, and now he comes on and does some videos with us too. So yeah, we'll definitely do some more of that, bring on some subscribers, and maybe we'll do that and add that into some of the shows and let a couple other people come on here and there and voice your concerns about this football team. But I appreciate all the great comments, guys. And until next time, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports, and we'll see you on the next live. And look for our video dropping tomorrow about the Steelers' loss, and we'll break down things a little bit further. All right, guys. Peace. Till next time.